Shit. Right. Yes, Dave Dog, that is right. I am magnetising the bases for transport. Just got in there in time to see that message. How are we all doing, guys? See, there's already got 5 likes. We've got 3 people in here and 5 likes. Awesome. This auto zoom stuff has got to stop, though. What the hell is it playing at? It's worse than ever. Jeez. I think it's the light that does it. I have to try and not be too animated. The more animated I am, the more it zooms in and out. But sorry, guys, there is literally nothing I can do about that until I sort out. Hans Gruber, how are you, buddy? You were in there last night in Skarner's live vid. Oh, right. I just about made it on time. Yeah, I saw it zooming in and out in this autofocus. I do apologise, guys, and you'll probably notice on a lot of my videos the camera's sort of in and out a little bit, autofocusing. It drives me up the wall. My phone, and I've looked online for it. Hey there, Shadowcat, Green Tide, Squig Boss, Mad Knobs. Hey. My phone, which I do everything on, is a good, really good camera. Really good camera. Good detail. It's a good phone. That's why I got it, primarily to be a good phone for YouTube. But it has this annoying feature where it has this autofocus that you cannot switch off. It's not on. I've googled it, and other people have asked, to try and switch it off, and it's so annoying. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, and it seems to get worse where there's certain lighting conditions. I think the light and the shadow sends the sensors into haywire. Move the phone to a different position. Yeah, I mean, I could try this way so you can see my really cool curtains. Now, I must say, we didn't buy these curtains. They were gifted to us, and I ain't really that fussed about curtains. They will get changed one day. So, if it looks like I've stolen my curtains from your nan, just yeah, sorry. Oh, it's going to be weird doing it this way. This feels really unnatural, but we'll see. We'll see if it. I'm going to be moving the camera around a bit anyway, because I'll show you some of the bits I've been working on. Dreadwar, the sexy granny curtains. We're talking about these, right? That wasn't a euphemism for something. I'm not showing anything off here. Those are some dope curtains. Hey, they're a free arsehole, right? The most bad moon curtains I've seen. I can see what it's going to be like now. It's going to be a 1 hour live video of. I think we'll go for about an hour, maybe a bit more. We'll see. We went 2 hours yesterday on Skarner's one, and that time just flew by. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Be 1 hour minimum, and we'll see how we get on. Good call though, Shadowcat. The zoom seems to be much better. No comment, says Shadowcat. That's probably for the best. Oh, I spoke too soon. I can already see it zooming in. Look, just me sipping a coffee sends it. Well, better zoom in on that. Better focus on that cup. Just stop overthinking it, camera. They put all these auto things in there. I don't need curtains. I just use large pieces of rusty metal, like a true orc. No Pepsi. No. Was I drinking Pepsi the other night? I do like a Pepsi. My missus drinks loads of it. She drinks this Pepsi Max crap though. This no sugar shit. Ugh. Can't stand any fizzy drinks that are diet. And that's all Pepsi Max is. It's diet Pepsi, but they put on the Max name to make it sound all edgy and cool to the kids. And the marketing scheme worked amazingly because everyone rushes out and buys it and thinks it's the best thing ever. But no, if I'm going to drink Pepsi, it's the proper Pepsi. And yes, I'm going to have some of you hitting that unsubscribe button because yes, I think Pepsi's better than Coca-Cola. There, I said it. Although I do like a Coca-Cola as well. Depends what mood I'm in. Coca-Cola's more fizzy. Pepsi's sweeter taste. Oh, that's a damn good cup of coffee I made there. Coke sucks. Oh. You're probably going to say Pepsi sucks as well, yeah? But are you one of them people, if you go somewhere to like a bar and I know you'd probably order a beer, but if you go to a bar and you order a Coke and they say, sorry, we've only got Pepsi, are you one of those people that go, oh no, I won't bother then? Because those people driving up the wall, like, it's the same thing. Don't be a snob, all right? Lilt is hands down the best food drink. I'm not a big lover of Lilt. To be fair, I used to love all those sort of drinks when I was younger, but I think as I'm getting older, I prefer coffee and stuff, but Pepsi better than Coke, heresy. Yeah, I'm sure most people would agree with you when I say it to most people. Although, do you know what? I've got a feeling Pepsi Max outsells Coke these days because virtually everyone I know drinks Pepsi Max. I'm unsubscribing then. No, stick around. One of the best drinks ever, actually, for me, I love Mountain Dew. Not the crap we get over here, proper Mountain Dew that they get in America, the real stuff. The stuff we get here is not Mountain Dew, not the same anyway. It's not the same. They did that Mountain Dew energy drink. I don't think much of that, but I really like Mountain Dew. That's a nice drink. Completely probably rots you inside. Sorry guys, I know you didn't come here to chat about the beverage industry, but I'll just letting people filter in before we get to the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be doing. And I am absolutely shattered today. Squig Boss Mad Knobs, that's why I've got all the likes. Brilliant. Shadowcat says a Pepsi worker got fired after his Coke test. They just did drug testing at my work yesterday, actually. They do that regularly there. Right, so it's been a while since I've done one of these. Been a while since I've done much on the channel, actually. Alexandra Warren, hey, buddy. Don't know if you've been in any of my live videos before. I always see you commenting on my videos. Thank you for that, by the way. And if you have been in the live videos, I apologise. It's hard to remember you all. I always see you commenting on my videos, which I massively appreciate. I love it when people comment and, you know, whether they're disagreeing or agreeing with what I said or, you know, critiquing something, whatever. I love the interaction. That's after I've finished a video, the best bit about the whole process, I think, is reading the comments and replying to them and getting conversations going. Especially if it's a good one that gets people debating things. As long as it's in good nature, I haven't got much time for people turning nasty on each other, but that never really seems to happen in my comments on my videos, which is great because my subscribers are the best. Do I remember Tab? Yes, I remember Tab clear. I remember the big advertising thing. Yeah, I watched this is how sad I am. I watched a documentary the other day on YouTube about how Coke bought out Tab deliberately to fail, but to hurt Pepsi with their Crystal Pepsi at the time. It was weird, but it's all marketing stuff. It's really strange how it all works, but it's quite interesting how these two companies have been like fighting over the years. Have you got an Instagram account for conversions, etc.? No, I haven't. I currently have Facebook, which I'll chat about later actually, because I need to do something about my Facebook. So I've got my Facebook. I've got my Facebook group, the Two Bald Knobs, which means Skarner and Dreadwire are all admins of. So if you haven't already, guys, please join my Facebook group, Two Bald Knobs. You are free on there to share Panda Pop, rhubarb and custard flavour. Yeah, Two Bald Knobs Facebook. Get on there, share your stuff. If you're painting something, share it. If you're converting something, share it. If you've got pictures of your battles or a model you've built or whatever, pretty much as long as it's Orky, that's fine. You can share memes on there, you know, whatever you want. Share your fan fiction, anything, as long as it's green skin related. There's not, you know, it's a very laid back thing. And at the moment we're on to about 80 or so members in that group. And it's just and I check in on it all the time, and I always try and like and comment on whatever people share. But it's good to see people's creations and Orky stuff going on and Orky chat. And yeah, so it's been a slow build. I don't think I've really promoted it as much as I could. So it's grown slowly. Like Dreadwire's group on Facebook, which is also very cool, great place to share stuff, has been growing really well. And I think he's done a lot better job than me of promoting it and getting it out there and attracting people to join. Whereas the Two Bald Knobs group, we sort of set it up and then we didn't really ever do anything with it. So trying to sort of shout about it a little bit now. But the link to that is in the description of all my videos. So yeah, get on there and check that out. but yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so I've got Facebook, I've got YouTube, obviously. I have just signed up to Discord. I don't really, I'm going to sound really old and decrepit now, but I don't really get Discord yet. I kind of see what it's about, but I'm not really in with it, so I haven't really fiddled around with it much. And the only reason I'm there is because Skarna would not stop badgering me about getting on Discord. So I was like, right, let's get on Discord just to get him off my case. So yeah, I'm on Discord now, but haven't got anything set up. I'm just there to, basically go into Skarna's Discord and chat and interact with people there. But yeah, I don't really want Instagram because I've got Patreon as well. So yeah, I've got Patreon. There's a lot to. I don't want multiple things. I can't have too many different. I picked Facebook as my social media, and I've stuck with it, and I'm not interested in changing it. I don't. That's where I'm at. That's where I've got my stuff. But what I have been thinking about doing on Facebook as well is creating a second account. I know Dreadwar's done this. He's got an account called Dreadwar. So he's got his personal account and he's got his Dreadwar account. And I kind of think I maybe want to do the same thing because I like to keep my hobby and my sort of work life, normal life, sort of separate to a degree. It's so, yeah, because quite often I look at pictures and people will comment something Orky related on a picture of a family picnic or something, and it's yeah, I think a lot of people will be looking at it going, what the hell's what I don't get it. So I'd kind of like to sort of separate a bit. So I think I'm going to make a 6+ Stevo Facebook account and then sort of do that to sort of separate my life out a bit from my personal life, from my YouTube as well. And then yeah, Shadowcat says you have a normal life. No, Shadowcat, far from it. My life could never be described as normal, that's for damn sure. But yeah, that's that. Anyway, I've been at work all day. I've coming down with a little bit of a stinking cold, but I've just popped a paracetamol before coming on camera. Got a strong coffee, and I'm sure this cigarette will help as well. That makes a lot of sense, Steve. Says Alex. Yes, thank you, mate. Yeah, so I will be doing that soon. I just haven't sort of got round to it yet. Been busy in that, but yeah. So if any of you are friends with me on Facebook, and I do remove you, don't worry. It's only because I'm going to remove you and then refriend you via the other account to sort of have my hobby YouTube life. Because a lot of people I know throughout, day-to-day life, work stuff, have no idea I do this YouTube thing. No idea whatsoever. The main reason for that is because sort of friends and colleagues and things I have outside of this, like a bit of banter, and they probably would, I don't know, I worry about people getting on and making stupid comments and stuff and sort of tarnishing it for me, because for me doing this YouTube is my escape. There's a lot of stresses in real life. There's a lot of stresses at work. It can be really hard going at times, and it really sometimes can get me down, with depression, anxiety and all sorts of things. And this YouTube for me has been just a hugely positive experience, and it's me sort of fulfilling a dream of mine, really, to sort of do this sort of stuff on YouTube. And you guys have just made it awesome, and you genuinely, like, it sounds cheesy, but you bring a lot of joy into my life. It's something I'm proud of, and it's something I really, really get a kick out of and love. And so, yeah, it's my escape. So I like to keep it separate. So if things get hard for me at work, I've always got this, and this brings positivity and just good stuff. So, and I'm quite proud of what I've achieved with it so far. I do definitely want to improve massively. There's so many ways I want to improve and make it better and bigger, but it all takes time, and it's getting there slowly. But anyway, I've been chatting away for nearly 15 minutes now, and haven't done anything magnetizing yet. We will get to it, I promise. That's wonderful to hear, says Alexander. Thank you, mate. I say it's you guys. Hey, Idic. Nick Beer's in here, guys. Nick speaking. Get ready for the Necron shouts. So your channel buddies are of a more gentlemanly caliber, those sort of outside. I don't think any of my friends, YouTube or hobby related or work related, are gentlemanly at all. No. Dred, you're probably the most gentlemanly person I know. In a sort of rural, feral way, that is. We are all quite lucky. The Orc community is the most creative in the 40k unit build scene. Oh, big time. Idic's got a horrified face there. I don't know what that's in response to, whether that's saying that the Orc community is the best compared to the Necron community, of course, or whether it was because I wasn't including him in being a gentleman. Orc people are generally awesome. They are. They are. Hold on, we got a dirty tin head in here. They're not called Necrons to the Orcs, Nick. They're called tin heads. Same as those Elder. They're not called Elder or Eldari. They're called pansies. So, what have I been up to lately? Let's just go over that before we go into the magnetizing, because I'm going to finish this cigarette before I get the stuff down. So, what have I been doing? Well, brace yourselves, guys. I hope you're all sitting down, because I have been doing something that doesn't get done around these parts that often. I've only been painting. Yes, get in there anyway. So these are my mech guns sub-assemblies at the moment, the ones that you'll have seen on the channel, no doubt, that I've created. Yeah, and because they're in sub-assemblies, I thought, well, I've got to get, you know, I did the Cardinal Sin. I did a battle report on a big channel that's famed for battle reports with painted armies and stuff, and I turned up with virtually an entirely grey army. And worse than that, I turned up with things that were just held together with blue tack. But yeah, so I'm getting them slow progress because it's yellow. And yes, I'm painting yellow over a black undercoat. And I know that's the wrong way to do it. And I know everyone will say, don't paint yellow over black. You'll be, you know, but it's what I've done with my cans. It's what I've done with the few bits I have painted is what I've done. So everyone's taking the piss now. You're painting, you okay, you're sick. Yeah, so yeah, it's getting there though. And they got the first coat of yellow on. So at the moment, the yellow looks really crap because, as you can see, it's just really, it takes a, it's gonna take about 3 coats, like I did with my cans. It took about 3 coats of yellow. And I'll be honest with you, I don't go into it. I glob it on quite thick, and I don't use the wet palette, because a wet palette in yellow painting over black does not work. You do not want to be thinning that paint down too much. And I know this is all, you know, people who are skilled painters out there are listening to me speak, going, God, no, that's the wrong way to do it. Hey, maybe it is, but it's the way I know, and I'm sticking to it. The reason I do it that way is because most of my bits, I don't overdo it on the yellow. So I, like a lot of Bad Moon stuff, really yellow is the dominant color. I kind of do touches of yellow. It's a mixture of yellow and black, and then the rest of the color scheme is rusty metal, and little flashes of gold throughout there because they're Bad Moons. And also, I'm not using a traditional Bad Moon yellow. It's more of a sort of a mustard yellow, like it's this color from Army Painter called Desert Yellow, and it almost looks like more of a brown, really. But when it goes on there, it comes out as a yellow, but quite a dark yellow. And I quite like that because it's not quite so in your face and bright yellow, and it's give it a bit more of a sort of a, I don't know, I like it. I think it works. Under the light, it does look quite bright and stuff, but yeah. So they're coming along. They're sort of getting the base coats on, ready for ink wash, and you know, I'm not going to be going to town too much on them. But then what I need to do after that is do a test run on just one Orc boy, because I haven't got my Orc skin down yet. I want to do my skin, get the skin right the way I want it. And again, I'm going to go really basic. I'm not going to be going fancy. I'm not doing zenithal highlight or anything. It'll be old school, black undercoat, dark green wash, and a little highlight with a lighter green. And that's just, I'm just going to keep it real simple because I've got to get this stuff done. I'm not going to rush it, but I'm going to keep it as simple as possible and just to tabletop standards. So don't expect to be seeing sort of painting tutorials for me or golden demon looking entries or anything like that. Someone's saying there brown primer works well. I've also been told about grey is good as well. I mean, I've sold certain things like, oh, if you do it black, then you can paint the bits you're going to paint yellow, paint them grey first, then go over a yellow. But then I'm not actually saving any time, because say I do grey and then I still need 2 coats of yellow, I might as well just do 3 coats of yellow, if you see what I mean, because that's not going to save me any time. So it's just, I've just accepted the fact that yellow's going to be a bit of a bitch. And so I mix it like this one obviously is mostly yellow going on there at the moment, but this one I mix it with the black, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. So this one I've kind of gone the easier route and kept most of it black and picked out, so sort of done the opposite way around. Good way to make things look different and stuff. So yeah, black and yellow is the theme of the army. And then like this one, because it's hardly got any actual armor plating on it, most of it's all engine and bits, just a little bit of yellow on there, and the rest of it's all going to be rusty metal. So yeah, the vast majority of the vehicles and stuff shouldn't be too bad, because they're all going to be rusty with some yellow armor plating on them basically. Right, let's move this stuff out of the way. Also, Steve, paint the black with the silver colour first. And yes, I've heard painting yellow over silver is good. And in fact, how you said that? I mean, not really silver, gunmetal, which is Army Painter's version of bolt gunmetal. It's identical from what I can tell. It really is. But this bit here, I dry brushed over the metal. So these were painted metal. And actually, you can see that the yellow has taken to those a lot better than, say, that where it went over black. So yeah, that is definitely a good call, actually. But then again, I don't want to go over the bits that want even black, because I don't want to have to repaint too much. So the bits I've sprayed black, yeah. But yeah, they're coming along anyway. They're coming along. But I've done. How is Bob? Bob is good. Bob is good. He's one of my few painted miniatures. Good that someone knows who Bob is. I like that. Bob's currently in his new magnetic case. Oh, damn, that's good coffee. What else have I been up to? Oh, yes. So I set the thing last night, the schedule for this live stream, because I was enjoying Scarna's one. I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow. And so set the schedule for it and everything. Thought, that's great. After finishing watching Scarna's live stream, took my phone off my tripod, and one of the legs broke off it. So now it's a bipod. I thought, oh, brilliant, just before I do the live stream. But it cost me about £3 off eBay from China. So I can easily get another one. And I've just sort of bent the legs round and made it work. You named the shock attack gun, says Shadowcat, because Shadowcat kindly donated me a shock attack gun, which is pretty much base coated, painted. No, I haven't named it. All I can tell you is that Reroll Joe is very scared of the shock attack gun. It's because in the first game it took out his Redemptor Dreadnought and did some other stuff. And then in our second game, he did absolutely dick all. But that's the joy of shock attack guns, isn't it? What else have I been up to hobby-wise other than painting these? Well, obviously I've built my cases that you'll have seen on the video, and I've started magnetizing bases. Also, the other thing, I've been getting ready for the 2K subscriber giveaway. One of the prizes is sitting right here. We're getting very close now. This is going to be one of the next videos I make soon. So this is just one of the prizes that one lucky viewer is going to get when I launch that competition. Fantastic little prize this. Good set of paints, brushes, clippers, glue, a palette, a file, painting guides. Real good set. Cracking set that is, whether you're starting out or just want to bolster up your hobby supplies. We can always use more brushes and paints, couldn't we? And what else have I done? I've also been doing a bit of reading. I don't do much reading these days, but I have started reading again. I've been reading this, the War for Armageddon, the omnibus, which at the moment I'm in a few chapters in on the novel Hell's Reach. And then after that, there's a load of short stories. But I've got this, obviously. It's going to be a lot of orky content in these stories. And we're not that spoiled in Black Library for orc books, or books that feature the orcs. When they do, it's always featured from like an imperial perspective as well, which does make sense because I don't know, it's going to be quite hard to tell a compelling story from an orc's point of view. I think it's going to be quite hard to get that heroism and stuff. You know what I mean? You needed characters that are relatable, but so far, really enjoying it. Where I'm reading up to at the moment, they're just about getting started into the battle, and yes, there'll be lots of you know, hopefully Gazzy will make an experience. No spoilers, please, anyone, but it's good. Those Horus Heresy books are great. Buy an audiobook if you're lazy. Horus Heresy books are great. I've got a whole load of them. I've got about, I don't know, about 10 of them. I started reading up in order of them, but then they just kept releasing them. And what is there now? There's like about 50 of them now. So many. And it sort of, I lost track of it all. But I know that they're now doing the Siege of Terror, which I'm definitely want to read those books. Really want to read them because they're fascinating books. They really are. They're amazing. Even though I'm reading about the Primarchs and stuff, and they're really well written. At least most of them are. There's been a few dud ones in there that have been a bit boring or not great, but most of them. I mean, the opening trilogy of Horus Rising and that opening trilogy is awesome reading. I also really enjoyed Fulgrim, which a lot of people seem to not be fans of, which I find strange. I thought Fulgrim was a really good book myself. And yeah, the Primarchs, they're interesting characters. I really do. I like reading about them. Anyway, let's move these. Where am I going to move these? I'm going to move my mech guns out of the way for the moment because doing this live video and doing some magnetizing gives me an excuse to have a night off from the painting. But if we were following your method of doing like an hour a night, I far surpassed that. So going by your method of doing an hour a night, and you can build them up and then have a night off because you did 2 hours the night before or whatever. Yeah, I've definitely got some hours owing to me, so I'm going to have a night off tonight. Because I ain't going to lie to you, it has been a bit of a chore. It's only through watching other videos and live videos and stuff in the background and listening to audiobooks, etc., that's kept me going. But yes, so what have we got here then? Let's move. So I've got just down here, as you can see, 3 lines of magnets ready to go. And the reason I've got 3 different sizes of magnets, and they are the key thing that some of them are different, sort of a different girth. It's an alt channel, so the knob jokes are about to start. But yeah, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is the different depths. So here, these ones are 2mm depth. These ones are 3mm depth. And these ones in the middle are 2.5mm depths. And the reason I've got them is because of the different size bases. So this base, ignore this guy, he's just blue tacked together, a little test run. But these 32mm bases, which I've upgraded, started to upgrade my boys onto, these little 2mm magnets, they went in great in the 25mm, 28mm bases. I forget what the size are, you know, the small bases. So the ones with all my grots on, these 25mm, these 2mm ones went in them perfect. And then these larger ones go in the Death Dread bases, perfect. But then these 32mm, the 3mm ones kind of stuck out from the bottom of them, so then the base wasn't sitting flush, so they were no good. And the 2mm ones were slightly too short, so they weren't really making contact with the metal. So I looked online and see if they did one between the two, and sure enough, they do. They do a 2.5mm one, and they are perfect. And that sits on there just great. So let me just move these to the side for the moment and show you. So yeah, as you can see, he's on there great. Although, let me just, oh, there he goes. Oh. Luckily he's not one that I've painted or thing, he's just blue tacked together. I just did a big shake there because I was a bit, because the magnets, I know they're the right depth, I think I've got them a bit too skinny, so they're not quite as strong as I would like. That is holding him on there all right, but I think I may need to double up on them. And also the bases that I've got for the Met guns are a similar depth. So let me just test that out quickly and see, because that should be just the right depth for that, hopefully. Yeah, it's perfect. So yeah, there you go, guys. If you've got a range of different sort of in your army, you've got miniatures on range of different bases, because not only they're different sizes, but they're different, you know, some of them are higher and deeper than other ones. And I found that if you have 2mm, 2.5 and 3mm, you're covered. That will cover the lot, and they're cheap. I mean, I got 50 of these 2.5 mils for £2.85 with free postage on eBay. They arrived really quickly and they're great. My only concern is that they're just not, they're 2.5 by 2.5, so I'd prefer slightly fatter ones. But I'm just going to get around that by using a few of them on these bases. But yeah, I saw someone there asking what glue I use. I just use super glue. So I've got some Loctite super glue here, just normal from the hardware store. Shall we? I mean, I can show you how I do it. So here's one of my Met gun bases here that would be going. So it's going to be really awkward because the camera, like I said, I broke my tripod, which is now a bipod. Let's get the super glue and get just a tiny little blob near the edge, like that. And I get the magnet and drop it in there. Then that's it, done. So it's not really, you know, yeah, I'm just looking at it lined up, see if it's the depth is right, and that is right. Because what you don't want, what you don't want is if they're not deep enough, if the magnets don't quite line up with it, they're not going to actually be touching the metal, so that they're not going to be as strong as they could be. If they stick out too far, then that's just going to be crap, because then the base won't sit flush, and that would be awful. And there are ways to get around it, like Skarna said to me, use a little bit of green stuff and put it in there, and then squash the magnet into it, and then that'll level it off. But I was like, I've got like, just my tank busters alone, I've got like 25 of them to do. I'm not doing that 25 times. I just want a blob of super glue, drop the magnet in, done, next. And that's what I'm going to be doing in a minute while I'm chatting to you guys. I mean, it was a good idea, and if you've only got 1 or 2 bases to do, then that's a great solution around it. Yeah, so these Met gun bases will certainly probably need, of these little magnets, at least, I would say probably 4 of these. I'll probably put 1 there, there, and there, and that should give it really good strength to hold on. I've still got some spare sheet metal, so I can test it out. I can do the old shake test and see that they're held on firm. But yeah, so I will glue these Met gun bases first, and then I shall get my tank busters out and start on those. And this is going to use, should I do these first actually? Because I don't think I need to do these ones first. I might do my tank busters first actually, because they're the ones I really need to get magnetized. They look better on bases. Yeah, see, Squig Boss Man, Met Guns doesn't have bases, and then Green Ties says they look better on bases though. Yeah, my Met Guns do have bases, because I think they look better. And the rules wise now with the grots, they're not a separate unit. And so I saw it as a great way to sort of make almost like little mini dioramas with the grot crew on the bases and on the gun and stuff. I think it's just going to look better. And when I put them on the bases enough, I'm like, yeah, they look so much better. They really do. I think in game terms, it hurts me a bit because you can't quite fit them in certain areas, especially there's lots of scenery and stuff. I think competitively, it may hurt me a little bit in some cases and scenarios. But yeah, it's a rule of cool. I think they look really cool. They're easier to transport. And yeah, so Stick says, be right back. I'm going to get a drink. Go on, buddy. What are you having, Coke or Pepsi? Zog, that sounds awesome. Is your snotling at her mother's? Well, the mother's here. I'm not separated from her. We're still very much together. So no, she technically yes, my snotling is at her mother's, which is here. Hans Gruber gets a beer. Knocking back some berries on it. Right, so yeah, here's one of my cases that I made up. I'll show you. As you can see, all those grots are magnetized, all those squig bombs are magnetized, but all those tank busters in the middle are not magnetized. But there's a lot of miniatures in here. I have got, in this case alone, over 60, and there's still room for more. And it shows you that this one cost a grand total of, well, if we don't include the price of the glue, the case itself, £9. 60 odd miniatures in there. Could fit probably up to 70 if you've got a lot of stuff on the 25, smaller, but it could probably fit up to 80. Depends on the size bases you got. If you're on small bases, you can fit tons of stuff in these, and they're great. They stack up really nicely. I think they look good. I'm so pleased with my custom made cases here. Getting a getting a case from Battle Foam, a magnetic case, was just not going to be an option. Yeah, I've got a magnet here I need to remove off that guy's base because it's one of the chunky ones that's too tall, which leaves him wobbly. So there you go. Look, there's a let me just give you an example. So there he is there, but as you can see, there's a bit of a wobble because it sticks out. That magnet just sticks out the tiniest little bit above the base, and I was so gutted. And I was like, oh god, I really wanted to just get them all done in one hit. I was watching I think I was watching another one of Scarno's live videos actually, and so that was keeping me motivated to churn through them and magnetize. And I got through the grots, and then when I got to tank busters, I'm like, damn it, I have to stop because I need to buy different size magnets. But yeah, I've got all three types now that I could need, and I think I've tested them out on between the three. Tested them out on the 32mm, the 40mm, the Dreadnought size bases, the 25mm, 28mm, even these, which I think are like the, I don't know what size they are, I can't remember, but big, big bases. Those three different depth magnets, because no one ever talks about that either. I've seen lots of videos on tips of magnetizing and stuff, and no one has, from my knowledge, I've never seen anyone give. What I plan to do in the future is do a little video about it and list, so I can say 2mm magnets will do all of these bases, these size bases, and 2.5mm will do all these size bases, and then 3mm will do all these size bases. So people can use that as a, right, what do I need? All my armies on this size bases, so I need, so I need 2.5mm. And I just think that'd be really useful for people, because when you want to get stuff done, you buy something and it's slightly wrong and it's a pain in the ass. You just want to get the right information quickly and get it done. And so, right, that's the side. Let's get going. So I get my super glue out, make sure I get the right bases, right magnets even. That's the kiddos. Also, a little tip for you, when you do magnetize your bases, super glue works really quick, but what I would do is not glue your thing in and then straight away stick it onto its thing, because if you do end up moving whatever, you might take them off and then the magnetism might be stronger than the super glue, which hasn't quite set properly yet, and you'll rip it off. Or if your super glue dribbles down while it's still drying, it'll fucking stick it much better than you ever intended to the base. Das Miska is in here. Hello Gits, what you doing today, Boss Stevo? Vindix, I only do hats out of green stuff. It looks like some of you are having a conversation there about orky hats. And the best hats for the orcs are these ones. Bad Moon hats. They're the ones. I don't like to overuse them though. I think Green Tide very kindly said to me he's going to send me over a couple of these, which is cool because I will probably use a few more, but I won't overdo it because obviously the face is the same and that. So I decided to get one or two of them dotted in amongst my squads just to represent them as bad moons. So what I do need to get though is some plastic tweezers to help with, because these magnets are really small and fiddly, and so I wanted some plastic tweezers to help me sort of put them in easy. Obviously I can't use metal ones because the magnets will just stick to them. And my boy, I got him like this bug catching thing from a shop, like a little thing you can catch bugs in and look at them through a magnifying glass, and it came with little plastic tweezers. So I said to him, "Oh, have you still got them plastic tweezers?" No, he's broken them playing with them or something. Brilliant. Because that boy, that snotling, does love to break stuff, as snotlings tend to do. Just got one of his 3DS games on the side that was left in his pocket when I did the wash yesterday. So that's been round the washing machine on a hot wash. So I doubt Super Mario 3D Land has survived that little trip. I'm sure I used to do things. Yeah, these 2.5mm, they don't. I think it's like a hairline of making contact with the metal. It's just a hairline. But yeah. But this is going to be great for me. It's going to make my stuff easier to store, easier to access for painting, so I can take them out, do a bit of painting, put them back. I don't need to keep them out so they get dust on them. So it works as a dust protector, it works as storage, it works for transporting them. It's not going to be an ideal solution for everyone. Like Skarner said, he travels a lot of long distance on planes and stuff. It wouldn't be ideal for him. He needs something that's going to be able to go through the luggage things, and you know, there's certain regulations and things you have to have. So he probably needs something a bit more secure than that, and something that hides what's inside it. So it's not perfect for everyone, but for me, you know, say like when I get another battle report with Idic and I'm traveling up to his, be ideal for me. I can get them in the boot of the car, no worries, and I can be, you know, fairly safe in the knowledge that they're, you know, just as long as I don't have any accidents or anything. Which actually, I don't think I've ever told this story. I don't even think I told it to Nick on the day of the game. Driving up to his in the morning, a car in front of me stopped suddenly. Luckily, I saw it and I stopped suddenly. This was on the dual carriageway, you know, getting near his hometown. Stopped suddenly in front of me. I luckily slammed my brakes on, stopped without hitting it, and was fine. The car behind me see me stop and luckily stopped. The car behind them though didn't see and smashed right into the back of them, and it was so close to shunting into the back of mine. And I had my army in my case, my sort of phone case, and you know, bodge up storage boxes at the time in the boot of my car. And I was looking in the wing mirror thinking, my God, that was close. That would have been just tragic to have a car collide into the back of me on the way to a battle report and have my army all damaged. And oh no, because this stuff's just not really replaceable, is it? Especially if you've converted and made a lot of the stuff yourself. You can't really put a value on it, and it would just be, oh, I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to tempt fate. They can take my car, but not my orc army, says Dave Dog. Flipping right. Although I don't want to take my car either because I love my car. My car is very orky. It's got a big ass engine. My car is quite a rare car actually. It's an MG ZS. If anyone knows anything about cars, it gets mistaken for a Subaru all the time, but I think it's better than a Subaru. But it's a 2.5 V6, which to any Americans watching is probably quite standard. But over here in England and Europe, don't generally have cars like that. We generally go for little engines like 1.6s and stuff. But yeah, it's a beast. It sounds amazing. It's really orky sounding, you know, driving it around with the windows down. You don't need a stereo, just the sound of the engine is awesome. What year, says Sean Hope? It's in 2006, I think. I'm trying to remember what the number plate is now. 2003. It's quite old now. Quite old. It was the last year they made them though. So and there's only when I taxed it, I found out that there was only actually 700 of that particular model in the whole country. I've seen a few other ones like the sort of smaller engine ones, but yeah, so it's very rare. But it was just at the sort of time when MG going out of business. So it's the sort of newest one you could get. But yeah, I like it. And it's got great boot space for carrying armies as well. Huge boot. So it's not only is it fast and sounds nice and looks nice, but it's very practical as well for doing the shopping and running the kids about and stuff. So it's ideal. Stick says he's going to bed. Bye lads, see you later, Sticks. Thanks for joining us, buddy. So how are you guys up to while I'm magnetizing? Is anyone else out there magnetizing at the moment, or painting or building or converting? What's everyone up to? Oh, there we go. Putting daughter to bed, says Nick. I wonder what Nick reads his daughter like bedtime stories. Probably like from the Necron Codex. There's bedtime stories about the star gods. Been painting today though, he says 5 hours. Oh, there was a bit of a lag there. Nick says, of course, to reading the Necron Codex's bedtime stories. He's warped that young girl's mind. That's okay, mate. We thoroughly approve. It might not be orcs, but at least it's 40k. And the tin heads are cool. They are another one of my favourite factions. I've still got a small Necron army that I got with the Forge Bane. Yeah, the Forge Bane set, which I started to build and then stopped, and because I sort of said, no, you've got to carry on with your orcs because you need to get them done. You're an orc channel after all. But yeah, they're still sitting there waiting to be shown some love, and they will do at some point, but I've got to just stay focused at the moment. They're not going anywhere. So at one point in the future, I will get a small Necron force together. Take me back to the old days of when I used to have a Necron army. But for the time being, I need to. I've done a lot of building. I've done a lot of converting. I really need to just crack on with this painting now. Alex says he's just watching me live. That's cool. Sometimes it's nice to, when you're watching properly, you can interact a bit more and stuff. The only trouble I find is when I'm watching a live video, I want to get involved in the conversations and stuff. But if I'm painting at the same time, I can't, because I just keep stopping, putting the brush down. It starts to dry out while I'm writing comments and stuff and getting involved in the conversation. And it was very hard yesterday because Scarno kept mentioning me by name at certain points. I'm like, oh, I've got to retort to that and get involved and talk. Convert the Necrons into Orc Tin Boys. No, I will keep them as Necrons because I do really want to do a Necron army at some point in the future. But yeah, they're on hold. They're on hold because orcs always come first. And I need to get more of these 4-litre storage cases actually for my infantry, because I've got more than enough for all my vehicles, but I need a few more of them smaller ones for my infantry. And I was just looking, actually, I compared the measurements and stuff. I was looking at the cases that Battlefront do, the Magnarack ones, which have looked really cool and good quality, don't get me wrong, but to have the equivalent of what I've done, what I've achieved, you know, how much I can store and transport safely and securely and stuff via magnetic things, what that would have cost me from them is £280. which I couldn't warrant spending that on a case for the miniature. I just couldn't. I mean, that's 280 quid that you could spend on miniatures or, you know, other stuff. And yeah, it's a cool way. And if you've got if I had the money, I probably just would have done it. If I was rich, I wouldn't. Yeah, if money's no object here, then by all means, it's easier option. You don't have to make anything yourself or whatever. I'll just go out and buy it. But damn expensive. It says the Necron players are coming. What, into here? Oh, we could have a war on our hands. That's all right. The orcs will welcome it, buddy. We love a good fight. Necrons are good because they don't get scared and run away, see? So it means we can kick their heads in for a bit more. Only trouble is they don't scream like the Umis, which does take a bit of the fun out of it. But at least they give us a good fight. Bad Moons certainly like them because it's a good chance to show Necrons what real firepower is. Necron guns are cool, they're destructive, they're just not loud enough. Bad Moons, you know, it's all good, you know, being effective and punching a hole in the side of a tank and blowing things up, but it needs to have that nice loud explosions. Where's the fun in silence weaponry? I leave that for the dirty blood axes. Necrons do come back again, so you can hit them again. Exactly. It's great. Are you still like boxing? Says Squiggle. Boxing, yeah. Well, there's a girl at work actually, because the last boxing match I had, well, the only boxing match I had, I used to do MMA, but the only boxing match I ever had was a charity match for a charity group called White Collar Boxing. A lot of you may have heard of them. And there's a girl at work actually, a good friend, who is about to do it herself, what I did a couple of years ago. So I've been helping sort of train her and take her to the gym and stuff and get her ready for it. And it's been quite good because I haven't really done anything for ages gym wise and stuff. So it's getting me sort of fit again doing that. And yeah, just helping her, giving her some advice and stuff and, you know, showing her some combos and getting her working the pads and stuff. It's been good fun actually. So I'm sort of playing the part of like Mickey on the old Rocky films. So it's a real shame actually. I'd love to sort of be in her corner or be, you know, yelling advice to her and stuff. But yeah, so that's been quite cool. And yeah, I think maybe one might just be one more. Have you ever done an axe kick or roundhouse kick in MMA? No, I was useless with my legs, man. That's why boxing was more of a natural fit for me. All I really had in MMA was I had a good punch, especially for my weight, because I was quite a lightweight. But for my punching power, for my size, really good. But my sort of cardio, my techniques, my skills weren't the best. I was an enthusiastic amateur at best. But I had a good hard punch. As soon as I was taken to the ground, putting submission holds and stuff, it sort of went downhill from there. So yeah, boxing was much more my thing. And my legs, my kicks are so weak. I had like spaghetti legs. Yeah, I've not got strong legs. I've not got good technique with the kicks and stuff. And I'm getting old now, man. I've suffered with sciatica. For anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's like a trapped nerve that affects your back and your legs, and it's horrible. And when that goes, it's like literally crippling. You can't move. It's horrendous. And if I overdo it with things and I don't do stretches and warm-ups and things, and you know, I'm getting old now. I'm 38 now. I'm, you know, the years, I feel in the years. I can't do what I used to do. But I don't know, maybe there's one more left in me. Maybe raise some more money for charity and do it again. It might happen. I'm churning through these anyway. I've nearly got all of them done now. I'm going to try them with just one magnet of this size so see how they get on. And then if I think they're maybe moving about not quite good enough, I can always throw in another magnet later on. It's very therapeutic actually, magnetizing bases. It's a nice break from painting. And I think Idic Nick had some great sort of advice. Well, sort of advice, but I've heard him mention this before, and he's sort of gone over. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna have a little cigarette here. Boxing is for proper orcs. Why kick to get when you can knock his teeth out with a punch? Bloody right. Dominic Pierre Palacos. Sorry, if I'm getting butchered now. I practice boxing myself, and yeah, it takes a toll on your body eventually. Yeah. My fault is that I didn't get into it earlier. I wish I'd got into it earlier at a younger age. I didn't start. And I got into MMA at like 28, 29, just before I hit my 30s. And it was, I think you really want to be getting it in your sort of later teenage years or early as possible, really. Because, I left it too late, but I think if I had started earlier, maybe I could have had something. Maybe I could have, I could have been somebody, but no, I don't know. It's something that I enjoyed doing it. It was good. But what was I saying? Yeah, Nick put it really well with the painting and stuff. I'm sure he's talked about this in his videos, and other people as well. I've talked about in their videos, sort of lack of hobby motivation in certain things. And I know one bit of advice he said, like, if you're finding that lack of, it's not too late to, I'm taking up MMA in September. Hey, good for you, man. It's awesome, mate. It's really good. But yeah, or just take it easy. It's good, but it's brutal. Depends how you're going to do it, whether you're going to compete stuff. But no, sorry, I keep getting off point. Stick to the point. He said, like, if you're with your painting and stuff, if you're finding a lack of motivation, things you find it hard, and so you sort of stop doing anything, switch to something else. So building or magnetizing or reading the books or whatever. But whatever you're doing, you're still hobbying. You're still making progress. And and that's what I did to a degree with the painting side of things. I was like, well, I'll get to that later. I'll just do this, and then I'll just build that one. I want to convert this, or I want a unit of them, so I'll build them. And basically, I was just doing everything to get myself out of painting because I knew what a fucking ball ache painting was going to be. It was procrastinating, what they call it. That's the big word for the day. But it is good advice, and it's great. Like, so today, I've got a night off from the painting because I'm doing this. So I want to do these magnets, but the night off from the painting is not bad. I'm not having to feel guilty because I'm not painting, because I'm still achieving something. I'm getting my stuff magnetized. It's still working towards, which in itself will make these guys easier to paint later down the line, because then I can transfer them back and forward. Hey, Skarner in Storybud. Hey, Skarner, we've been chatting about you on this. Well, I have anyway. These guys have been saying some horrible things about you, mate. But I stuck up for you, mate. I told him that, just to leave it out. I wouldn't have anyone say anything bad about Skarner on my videos. Hans Gruber says, painting is my happy place. It's not my happy place. Painting Necrons is my happy place. Painting Tyranids is my happy place. I love painting Tyranids. Oh, Tyranids are so easy to paint. Like, you could just literally put a couple of colours on there, dry brush, and boom, they look amazing. Pick out the teeth and the claws. Oh, I love painting Tyranids. Hate building them though, certain ones. Hormagaunts. Oh, jeez, those things. Nightmare. I was building my old Tyranid army back in the day. I had loads of Hormagaunts and building them. Oh, they're a bit of a ball ache. They always fall over as well. Top heavy. They're models that could do with going on bigger bases, actually, because they always fall over them things. But painting orcs, I think if I was doing Goths, like good old Green Tide, if I was doing Goths, I'd be laughing, because you can spray them black, do the skin that. Most of their stuff's black. You pick out the metal, nice and simple. But of course, I made things difficult for myself by doing bad moons. But hey, solid. So yeah, Skyny, you've missed a lot of it. I've been chatting about all sorts really, but I'm working through these. I've got about halfway through these tank busters magnetized now, so that will be one whole sort of infantry case full up for them, near enough anyway. I can't magnetize any of my boys yet because I need to upgrade the bases sizes and before I do them. But I've got a lot of mega knobs actually, so I'm going to get these done and then I'm going to start on the mega knobs, and they'll be using the same size magnets as well, so I can get a lot of them done, and a lot of my characters like my war boss and big mechs and things, start getting them magnetized. Let's see what's going on in the chat. A6 plus Stevo, what paints do you use to paint your orcs? Army painter paints, buddy. These. It might seem like it, but I'm not affiliated with Army Painter or anything. They have sent me very kindly recently stuff for review and things, which was really cool of them. But no, I just, I tried these out and I really like them. I do have some GW paints that I've got. I got through. I was collecting the Conquest magazine for a little while, but very quickly stopped. But I got a few paints through that. You've got a lot of work and painting on your hands, Stevo. I do. But what I'm trying to do now is not get overwhelmed with it. And the good thing is now, because I've got it in the cases, I can put it away and I'm just keeping out what I'm focusing on. So at the moment, I've got my tank busters out, but as soon as these are all done, they're going to go back, magnetized into their case and be safe stored. And I've just got the mech guns on the table. I do have all this scenery looking at me as well, which needs to be finished. So this is all sort of started, and I mean, it's usable like that in a game. You could use that in a game just fine, but I just want to get them finished. So I've got to get them finished at some point. I've got the killer cans that are so close to being finished, get them finished, and just figure out this orc skin. But I'm just going to tackle it one thing at a time. So yeah, like Skarna says, they're chipping away slowly. That's all we can do, just keep improving. Another thing that Nick said to me after game, I said, I feel bad, doing the battle report with Grey Army. Oh, it's bad. But he said, it's fine. He said, do it. And he said, next time we do it, if you've got some more stuff painted, and just each time people can see that you're getting there gradually, bit by bit, unit by unit, character by character. Green Tide says, I think I finally found a good formula for orc skin finally. Well, please share it, buddy. I'm sure we'll all be interested, because I think a lot of us all use quite different sort of techniques for orc skin and stuff. Let's hear what your technique is, because everyone's technique is slightly different. They all give slightly different results, which all works as well, because it's great that orcs from different systems and different planets and things would have different variations of skin tone, so that works quite well. Mine, I think I'm going to go for sort of quite an old school look, sort of taking it back. I think orc skins come on a lot of ways in recent years. I'm going for the quite sort of bold, vibrant green that they were traditionally painted in sort of the 90s and early 2000s. Since then, I think people have gone for a bit more of a realistic sort of tone. I know Skarna's ones have got a sort of an olivey green sort of look to them, and it looks probably a lot more realistic, I think. But I quite like the sort of bold, sort of almost cartoon-like look of the skin color that I'm going to try and go for, basically. Try and get it looking realistic, as much as possible, but I just want them to look quite bold and bright. They're bad moons after all, so. And then obviously, if you're really sticking to the fluff and the lore, you can vary the skin tone within your army. I like to have the skin tone consistent across the army, so it just ties it all together. But that's probably fluff-wise not really true, because what you should be doing really is your war bosses and your knobs should be having darker skin, and the boys having sort of slightly lighter skin, and then the grots maybe even so more lighter, because as an orc grows and as they age, they become darker. So yeah, I see some people there saying, so I think I just saw someone saying they're painting them in purple. So basically, you're painting invisible orcs. because purple is very hard for orcs to see. That's the sneaky colour. Han says there's no wrong colour for orcs. No, there isn't. I've seen ones done red, which look really cool. And I've seen ones done in, you know, like a white colour as well. I've seen different shades of things, and they do look cool. I don't know, I'm sort of more in the camp that they should always be green, really. Whether it's different type shades of green is fine, but I kind of think they should be green, really. They are green skins after all. But yeah, I mean, there is no wrong colour for anything. You can paint things whatever you like. Green is best, says Scarlett. Yes, green is the best. Personally likes to do mine with more natural greens and an overall realism look. Yeah, I mean, that does look cool. Contrast to the yellow brown armor, the purple tends to pop. Yeah, it's good to get your colors that contrast nicely and stuff. I'm the only thing I'm slightly, because of mine, I'm basing mine like on desert bases as well, and that's the only thing that I slightly look at on mine and think, oh, it's not like my cans. I think they look good, but because of the sort of the rusty metal and the sort of mustard yellow armor plate and stuff, and then they're on sort of a brown base, it all kind of blends in a bit. And so I kind of think if they'd been on a different color base, it would have sort of popped a bit more and contrasted a bit more. But I'm generally pretty happy with the few that I have painted, and I think I'm just going to carry that scheme along and just stick with it, and I think it will look pretty good once it's all done. Top tip, says Sky, decide what colours you want to paint a mob of 30 boys before you start painting them. That way you don't have to paint them 2 or 3 times. Yeah, which is what I'm kind of going to do with, I've painted like Bob, which kind of got my rough colour scheme down. And I painted like one can. I just got one can, painted it from start to finish. I was like, right, now I just need to do that again. And I'm following that same method I use with them onto my mech guns, and I would do it on my trucks, on my Def Dreads. I'll just carry that theme all the way across. But like I said, I just haven't got that skin quite where I want it yet. So I just need to practice. I'll just get one of the old slugger boys that I don't really care about, and paint him up from start to finish, see if I'm happy with it. If I am, carry that through across all my boys, my shooter boys and my tank busters. Because I'm a bad mood, I'm not really going to be bothering with them slugger boys too often. Right, that's enough of the fag break. On with getting these magnets on. This is one of my favourite ones, my tank busters, this guy. That's proper Dakar right there, that is. Hey? That's Dakar that a goth would be jealous of. See? Yeah. Proper killy. Why have you called him Bob? Can I ask Stevo? My grot. I don't know. I don't know, just Bob. Bob. I think I'll do a painting orc skin to tabletop video, says Green Tide 40k. Cool. I look forward to that. That'll be good. I've always said that I'm the wrong person for painting tutorials. So any other orc channel that does painting tutorials, Skarner does great stuff. Not necessarily tutorials as such, but he does a lot of live vids painting, and it's great to watch. And as you're watching, you can pick up tips and stuff. It's great. Me, yeah, I'm a person that could do with learning a bit more painting rather than teaching. I'm not the right person to teach painting. I can show you how to do like conversions. I do them, whether my techniques are great, but we all do things in slightly different ways, and we all have different skill levels and stuff with things. I could watch things like Wes, who does the amazing work with, and Gork and Mork, who do amazing work with plasticard and stuff, and literally scratch build amazing creations from scratch. I could see things like that and think, God, why am I bothering showing any of my conversions off? Why do I bother when there's people like that around? But we're all at different skill levels and stuff, and for me, if someone's doing a painting tutorial and it is just showing you how to get some to a tabletop standard simply, for me, I'm more likely to watch that video than I am watching someone show you how to do wet blending and stuff and get gold and demon standards, because I'm never really gonna. I'm just never really gonna get to that standard. Oh shit, that went wrong. Oh no, I've glued a magnet to my fingers. Come on, you bastard, get on there. Damn it. That's the first one that's gone a bit tits up. Let me just get a little bit of glue on that just to see if that holds. He'll be all right. He'll hold. Luckily, it's quite this is a thin super glue, not a gel type. I think the thin one's good because you make sure it seeps under there when I put it on. That'll be fine. I think there's a bit of my skin hanging off that magnet now. There we go. But yeah, what else news-wise on the channel? I have finally got enough money. Skarner looks like Stevo's learning superglue the hard way now. A&E says Idic. The stream is growing, 69 minutes. Yeah, how are them likes doing, Squig Boss? Are you doing your job, drumming up them likes? I've seen Squig Boss is great on Skarner's live feeds. I think every other comment is, "Come on, guys, hit those like buttons. Let's chat more likes." I think Skarner's paying him. So I said to him yesterday, I said, "Yeah, get yourself." Sean Hope says, "I agree. I'm more of a kit basher than a painter." I'm the same, mate. I'm exactly the same. Building has always been one of my favourite parts of the hobby. Certain aspects of the building anyway. Converting and kit bashing is definitely, I've always just loved that. I've loved that. And there is unquestionably no better faction for it than Orcs. A very close second, I would say, would be Chaos. Chaos are a great faction for kit bashing and converting. But I think Orcs, you can really just let your imagination run wild with Orcs, especially with the vehicles, man. The vehicles, nothing's out of bounds because they loot everything as well. So you see vehicles from other factions, other factions. People look at other factions, they'll see a kit come out and they're like, "Oh, I wish I could have that. Wish I could have that in my army." And they might regret collecting their faction. We could see a new Space Marine tank come out or a new vehicle for the Tau come out. And we just go, "Cool, that looks cool. I'll loot that." And that's what's great. Orcs, we can have whatever we want, especially if you're a dirty Death Skull. They love a bit of looting. But the bad moons, we don't mind a bit of looting either, as long as it's flashy enough for us. We can basically take Imperial vehicles and pimp it out. You can have great fun with Orcs. No two armies need be the same. No, that's right. As much as GW try and make them all the same, because the way they're going, every army will have a Death Killer War Trike in it that looks exactly the same as everyone else's Death Killer War Trike. But we shall resist, and no matter how difficult they make it for us, we will always hack things up, saw things up, replace things, buy from third parties, and do whatever we can in our power to make things. Dave Dog, you getting any of those Adeptus Mechanicus World War II beach landing craft Yorks coming out soon? They do look cool. I'm not planning on it, but they do look very cool. Green Tide says, "I have no two vehicles can look the same rule for my war." I have exactly the same rule. Exactly the same rule. That's why I've converted a lot of my mech guns. I've got one standard, and the rest all have to be different. So kit bashed all the rest. Same with my truck. I've got two trucks. One's the standard kit, slightly modified, and another one's made from a Tau Rocks. Because you're right, they should not look the same. Orcs don't, well, they do actually. I was going to say Orcs don't have factories that churn out tanks and stuff. They do actually do that. Nasdreg, in particular, was famed for his big manufactoriums, or the Orc equivalent of, and having human slaves and things building, working on all this stuff. But I can't imagine that the Orcs are, too precise with getting all this stuff the same. So sometimes they could have stuff look fairly the same, but most of their stuff, even if it started out looking the same, it's going to be bodged up and patched up after battles and between battles, and bits robbed off other things to repairs and modify, because orcs love to modify. Once they got that new truck or that new bike, they're going to modify it and boost, soup it up and add extra boosters and extra guns and just make it, you know, if you're a bad moon, they're going to make it flashier. If you're a blood axe, you're going to cover it in camo. If you're a goth, you're probably just going to stick a death roller on it. If you're an evil son, you're just going to kit it out with boosters and nitrous and bigger engines, and yeah. So yeah, it's great. It's just orcs rock, man. They're just the best. They really are. So there's one. What do I do with that? I need to. I did have a set of pliers around here somewhere. I need to pop these old magnets off that didn't quite work out. Where did I put those pliers? Damn it. I'll tell you what. I'll use my clippers. I'll try and make sure I don't lose the magnets, or worse still, a finger. Yeah, that's come out quite easy actually. And then stop. So I'll use them magnets for different bases. These, I had 2 in this one of the smaller ones that weren't quite deep enough. So I tried it out with 2 and it still wasn't quite right. And then where's my fellow who's got the big one in that was too big? So I've got one with 1 too big and one with 2 that are too small. So I'll take them out. Cool. And lost connection temporarily there for a bit. My internet's not playing ball today. So it was reconnecting. I think it's probably trying to tell me something to start cutting this live feed down soon. Gone sort of almost 20 minutes over what I said the minimum was. But yeah, I want to thank you guys, because doing things like this where you're just going through can get quite boring. So being able to go live and chat with you guys and interact with you guys while doing it makes these tasks a lot more palatable. Whether you're watching videos or doing videos, if you're doing them while you're doing the hobby, kind of takes your mind off it. It's like if you're working in a factory at a job and you're doing a sort of a boring, mundane task, repeating the same task over and over again. Those jobs can often be some of the best jobs, because as long as you're working with people that are a good laugh and you're having a chat with and you're bantering back and forward, it can make the day go quite quick. And the same principle applies when you're hobbying. Sometimes if you're chatting away, me and Skana quite often do hobby chat while we're hobbying, and it just keeps the motivation up. You motivate each other and takes your sort of mind off the sometimes mundane parts of it. Things like removing mold lines and, you know, painting yellow over black can be quite mind-numbing at times, but they're taking so long. So it's good to chat away and take your mind off it. Okay, well, that is all the tank busters now magnetized. I'll leave them to dry a bit before I actually stick them back in the case. And maybe I'll get these mega knobs out and start on these fellas. Is the chat still going? I haven't seen a message pop up in a while.